He smiled as the old-timers entered. He looked over the top of his sunglasses and complimented the ladies on their hair and brooches. He shook the men's liver-spotted hands. If one of the veterans saluted him, he'd click his heels and say, "At ease, soldier." Inside the flea market, the seniors ate sweetbreads and Carnegie saw the tacos and fruit cups dusted with chili powder. The men rifled through sagging cardboard boxes of old tools and checked their blood pressure with the machine by the snack bar. Women bought bottles of fake Chanel and candles and wrestling action figures for their grandchildren. If you have treats when they visit more often, an old woman had recently told Melina. They had their pocket knives sharpened and their nails manicured. They dozed off on the plastic-covered couches. They avoided the lowrider booths, the tarot card readers, and the man along the back wall who sold the caskets. And they stole. Candy and nectarines, bandanas and Chinese throwing stars, jewelry and cowboy hats, and, 2 months ago, a chinchilla. The chinchilla had been caught in the senior center kitchen and then eventually returned to the vendor who owned the pet booth, a woman everyone called the Crazy Rat Lady. Melina had never met her, but he knew she was the reason he had been hired. He imagined her as a young, spirited thing who had given the Tradewinds manager an ultimatum. Either get a security guard or I'll pack up my varmints and start selling at the Swaparama. Since Melina had taken the job, no one had reported anything missing. He was proud of that streak, but he also knew it wouldn't last. His belief was that people stayed who they were. So on that last Wednesday of June, when the Crazy Rat Lady was marching up the aisle, he braced himself. Tradewinds was crowded that afternoon, bustling with the seniors and with other folks who had dipped in to escape the sun, as if the flea market were a pool. She had to shoulder through a cluster of people in front of the woodturner's table. Her progress put him in the mind of a trickle of water tracking through pebbles. She looked wall-eyed, resolute. Here we go, Melina thought, and hitched his thumbs into his belt. He watched a boy toss a toy soldier high into the air, watched as the soldier's parachute opened and drifted languidly toward the piñata booth. And then she was in front of him, standing far too close. Before she could speak, Melina said, "What's the good word, young lady?" "He's at my booth," she said, breathless. "He's buying mice. I told him I had to come get change. We don't have that long." "Did City Council pass an ordinance against buying mice?" Melina said. He liked making jokes about the City Council. "It's him, officer," she said. "It's the one everybody's been hunting for." Melina looked over his glasses and regarded her. Up close, she was much older than he had assumed, maybe a grandmother herself. The roots of her hair were gray. She was absently touching her lips. She wore a threadbare t-shirt and sweatpants cut off at the calves, and she smelled of the cedar shavings from her cages. It stunned Melina how much sense that made to him. A Tejano song, tinny with accordions, started bouncing through the ceiling speakers. Motion everywhere on the floor, lurching and jamming and lurching again. He looked back toward her booth. An old-timer was talking to a father and his teenage son. They had come in half an hour earlier, the father trailing the boy. The father had been mopping his sweaty neck with a handkerchief when he stepped into the flea market. He had pantomimed a shiver and said, "It's chilly out there," to Melina. Now, without turning away, Melina said, "Which one is it everybody's been hunting?" "The youth," she said. "The youth," he repeated. Cop show talk, he thought. The boy was smiling now, like his father or the old-timer had made a joke, maybe one that embarrassed him. He was holding a small white paper bag. "He's the one from all the flyers," the woman said. "I'm not crazy." "No, I don't believe you are," he said. He was surprised that the words didn't surprise him. "So," she said, "so what are we going to do?" "Well," Melina said, taking off his sunglasses, "well, if everybody's been hunting for this youth, I expect we ought to go let him know that he's just been found." And that's it.